Welcome back, Scots fans, for another edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm Dylan Girard here with Gordon College men's basketball coach Tod Murphy. Coach, you guys rebounded very nicely after a tough opening night loss to Husson. What changed between that first game and your next game at home against the Coast Guard?
Well, things had to change after a 46-point loss to Husson, and it was actually a good eye-opener because we did nothing right, and what was most disheartening was the fact that we gave no effort and didn't execute and didn't play with any heart, and it was very apparent in the film session, and we had a film session the next day, and I just challenged them to play hard in every single game, and they obviously didn't do it in that game, and I think that was probably the biggest difference, though. We came out and we played hard against Coast Guard as well as the next night against Endicott.
Now, in that Endicott game, David Dempsey putting up a Player of the Year-like stat line, very impressive game. And even in the Thomas game, Greg Walker quietly leading the way. It looks like a lot of players are not hesitant to really step up. So talk about what the leadership of Greg Walker and Dempsey have been like to the team, as well as Austin Benson.
Well, you know, those are the three guys that got substantial playing time last year, and this team knew, I made it very clear to them that those were our three leaders this year. And that Dempsey and Walker had to do a large amount of scoring this year for us to have success. And so far that's been the case. Greg's been great. You know, he wasn't chosen to the all tournament team, but he was okay with it. He was enjoying having the championship trophy in the locker room, and I think he even took it home with him over the weekend. So, so he's been great. You know, he's still my main scorer. Dave Dempsey is capable of nights like that. If he can do that on a consistent level, then yeah, you've got an all-league type of kid right there, because he's more talented than I think people realize. So, and then Austin is just our warrior. You know, he's this past week, I talked about being the Lord's warriors this week with the players, and Austin is definitely one of those. He goes out there and just has a passion for what he does, and if he has to run through people or over people, he's going to do it, obviously within the confines of the rules. But, you know, he had 4 3-pointers against Endicott, which was a huge boost to our team as well.
Now, aside from those three, Greg, Austin, and Dave, we saw a lot of freshmen or younger players get a lot of playing time, something that in the last couple of years hasn't really been part of the Gordon style with the younger players, but particularly Luke Hamilton and some of the other freshmen. Tell us a little bit about how the freshmen have contributed in the early season so far.
Well, I think it was obvious coming into this year with only 5 players that I guess were somewhat established in the program returning, that we needed some newcomers to come in and play minutes right away. And you know, we weren't sure just how quickly they'd adjust to things, and based on last week, you can say that Luke has certainly adjusted quickly, but you know, that's just his mentality. He shoots every shot the same, whether he's got a 6'10" guy in his face or whether it's an uncontested 3. So, you know, he's been wonderful for us, a nice surprise. Sean Roach is getting minutes at the point guard, and I don't think that's necessarily his natural position, but he's done a nice job there as well. So, you know, it's been nice. And then obviously having Jordan Kelly and John Himatu back, they've played a significant role so far in the early season as well. So, you know, we knew we had to add some pieces that weren't returning from last year's team, and so far, you know, it's gone okay other than that first game against Husson.
Now, a tough one tonight. The Vikings from Salem State come into the Bennett Center. What are you looking or expecting from the Vikings tonight?
Well, they're a very similar team to Endicott. I don't think they shoot it as well as Endicott. They're much more athletic than Endicott is, though, but you know, they're going to push it up the floor. They're going to trick up the defenses a little bit. They're going to try to get us in a fast-paced game like Endicott did. So, you know, if we play our basketball and just wear them down a little bit and try to pound the ball inside because they don't have a lot of size, I think we'll be okay. You know, again, relying on Greg Walker to score a bunch of points inside and for Dave Dempsey to be, you know, a consistent scoring threat both on the perimeter and inside, I think will certainly help us tonight.
Well, thanks, Coach, and best of luck tonight. Well, that will do it for this edition of the Coach's Corner. Check back every broadcast as well as on the Gordon College Athletics Facebook page for more interviews and inside scoop with Coach Murphy and all the latest news on the Gordon College men's basketball team.